I know this can be tough for you to talk about, but do it in whatever way is comfortable for you. It becomes apparent to a worker that it's time to bleed. Is there such a thing as going too far with it? When is it something that should be used? Is there a time in the match where you're like, this is it, I gotta get my color now? Take me through the process of bleeding.
There's a lot of different theories on that, and there's one huge drawback. The real old-timers, they just like to be busted open. Then you take the hair and you grab the hair tight and slap down over the eye. Depends how much money you're making, I guess. So I guess the actual way that it's got is a little irrelevant to the questions. That, like, we'll take, let's take Ric Flair in a championship match against Jack Briscoe, and it came back and it went an hour through, and this is the rematch. And it's in their Kiel Auditorium in 45 minutes. Briscoe's been getting the dog kicked out of him, boom, and the world champion Ric Flair gets busted open and he starts bleeding. The caliber of match happens, that brings a reality and a heightening of senses to the crowd and to the wrestlers that definitely increase the entertainment value, because it increases your adrenaline and things are getting more serious, because there's no such thing as fake blood that I know of anyway. Now, when is the right place to get something like that?
Yeah.
Again, let's take a couple that we use Ric Flair as an example. Let's use Abdullah the Butcher. See, this is where, they're at the 45-minute, coming back off of a 60-minute Broadway, 60-minute time limit. Then at the 45-minute in the next match, all of a sudden your hero gets the world champion bleeding, and he's trying to pin him. It's not about trying to make him bleed more, it's about trying to pin him, and if he bleeds a lot while doing that, that's okay. You've done that, but you're trying to pin him. With Abdullah the Butcher, what you're doing is trying to make him bleed more, or vice versa. There is no, other than running out of blood, there is no wind to it. When, especially down in the South, what happened was the matches themselves had been repeated so many times that getting color was a slang for it. Getting color was almost necessary for the crowd to go home feeling like they got everything. If you're looking at pro wrestling from the artistic standpoint and from the purist, then it works real well in a very hard-fought battle between two guys that have wrestled superiorly with each other and are real close, and all of a sudden, whoops, and something happens. That's drawing money. That's drawing money. Going out there and abduling it is ruining it and killing the business off, and I don't want my kids seeing that. It's too much.
Who showed you how to do it the right way? So you don't.
Well, I don't know that there's a one right way. Different guys all have had different ways. You know, some that have something in their mouth or on their wrist, or maybe get a pass. And some just like carried it on some part of the body that was easy for them.
What about cutting the gig, choosing a gig? I mean, that's all stuff that someone's got to tell you as a young worker.
Yeah, the very first time it happened, actually, the only time, well, let's see, the time that I was actually directed to this is what's going to go on, I was maybe 16, because I was working for Paul Bosch, and there was a guy named Jack Lanza with the claw, and I think he was going to go against Fritz, and so they put me in there and had me get squashed with the claw, and it made me bleed. Now, they were way up on the food chain. When those boys came back, those gentlemen came back, they said, "Hey, kid, what a kid." They said, "Thank you so much," boom, 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 because you got white meat like that, they doubled the house. That's good business. You know, I got a guy that's eating donuts, just, there's no art there. Wrestling is one of the greatest arts. Someday people are going to realize this. It's all psychology. So, again, with the days of come on slugger, and I've been to boxing matches where boom and the blood flies into your lap and boom. We have so much of that in movies and etc. where the first reality show ever in the world wrestling needs to lay off that because it makes us different than them, and it's good.